Hey everybody, it's Brooke. I want to make a tassel for my June and July Creative Daily Journal. If you want to make one with me, stick around. All right, so tassels, nothing new, just haven't made one for a while, and I thought it would be really pretty and summery to go on my journal. So I'll move my stuff out of the way. I just have some jewelry tools here, and I have not a split ring, a key ring, a book ring, one of those. I've got some little bulb pins. Apparently I don't have my words with me. Got a couple different kinds of cord, some little charms and beads, a little tiny bottle that I filled up with sequins and pearls. I love how this looks in a tassel. I just poured everything in there and then I glued the cork in with Fabri-Tac, so that's drying at the moment. This bottle is either Tim Holtz or Dollar Tree. I'm not sure which. Dollar Tree has some really cute little bottles. And then on the edge of my Creative Daily Journal, I put one of the Tim Holtz rings. It's the kind that's on a brad, and it's got the little ring right there, all ready for our tassel. So all I did was I went into my trims and pulled out random stuff that kind of coordinated with the colors of my journal. It can coordinate, it can just be neutral, it can be totally different, whatever you like. And I made these, my journal is I think only about 8 inches high, and I made these roughly 16 inches long so that they'll hang down the edge with all the hardware that attaches them, and they won't be too long. May have to trim some down, but that'll be fine. So I'm just going to go through and lay the pieces down in my hand. No particular order. Lots of pastels. I was feeling pastel-y. And this is good for little bits and remnants of trim, because they certainly don't all have to be the same length by any means. Whoop. And I've got, this is really, really cute, sort of ruched up ribbon that I think I got from my friend Allison at AJ's Inspired Life in a Happy Mail. Some little pearls, a little string of pearls, some more ribbon. I usually put more lace in, but I just didn't find any that I liked that much in a brief perusal of my drawers. A little bit of ribbon with a picot edge. Here's some sheer ribbon. Did I say this is a strip of fabric from the spine fabric? That's what that is. It was left over. Here's a thread that doesn't need to go in there. Okay. Little tiny piece of vintage baby rickrack. And here's some pink and white baker's twine. And a big piece of fluffy, sort of minty turquoise trim that I like. It's got these cute little puff balls on the side. And can you guys see that? Super cute. And then I have some sparkly gold and white baker's twine. Maybe we'll I've got 2 pieces of that. We'll split those up. Put one in the back a little bit. And I've got a piece of just regular twine. Boy, I tangled that up. Put that towards the front maybe. I like how the twine looks. It's kind of rough and rustic up against all the pastels and the soft colors and the satins and things like that. And then a couple pieces of pearl cotton embroidery floss. There's a pink one. And I think I have 2 yellow ones. And I'm just laying these across so that the middle is roughly in the center of my hand. Let's see. Like that. And we'll put this one over on the other side. And then we'll squinch them all together. And I'm going to put this split ring right there. I keep calling it a split ring. It's not a split ring. It's a book ring. Okay. And the book ring has the opening there, and it has the hinge there. You can either have the hinge hidden inside your knot, or you can have it on the outside, whichever way you like. I think we missed this little piece of baker's twine. How did he escape? Get back in there, you. All right. I think everybody is now corralled. And just kind of make sure everything is roughly centered. I don't know how to do that so you can see. There, I think you can see that. Okay. Kind of comb it out a little bit. Oh, that guy escaped entirely when I was pulling it, so we'll just thread him back in and just looking to see how it'll look. I think that looks really pretty. Okay. Thread this dude back in since he's not playing nicely. And then this stuff is kind of stiff. Okay, kind of grab that up into a knot as tight as you can. Then I'm going to take my gold and white banker's twine. You could also just use your regular twine or use embroidery floss, whatever you have and like. We'll lay this down. Give myself some extra twine. Don't want to not have enough. Okay, and then I'm going to tie a knot right here. I used to sew all my fibers across on my sewing machine. Like I would gather them all up and sew across to make sure they were all connected and in there tightly. I just don't think it's necessary. I put some pretty bulky stuff in here and my sewing machine gets kind of crabby at me, but I don't think it's necessary. If you tie your knots tight enough, I think you'll be just fine. So I've got that knot in there. It's not real tight yet, but I can kind of adjust. Like this guy is sitting kind of funny. I can get in there and adjust him, pull everything down, tighten that knot up again. And then because I'm only one person and I've only got the two hands, I flip it over and tie it again in the back. I like to have lots of the embroidery floss and baker's twine because you can string beads on them pretty easily. And I like to have lots of junk in my tassels. I'm having a very hard time tying this. Why is that? Because it's still attached to the roll, that's why. Honestly, I know how to tie a knot, I promise. Okay, is that going to come through this time? Don't really want to cut it off yet until I know how much I'm going to use. There we go. Jeepers creepers. Okay, so that's good and tight. And now what you can do, make sure your ribbons are all of your stuff is down nice and snug. And then just wrap, wrap, wrap. That's why I didn't really want to disattach the cord yet. Okay, so you wrap and wrap and wrap, making sure to pull it nice and tight. And again, you know, I used to go and sew across here, but I just don't think it's necessary. I really don't. Okay, so now we can cut this off. And you want to have, oh, sticky things. You want to have the strings on either side of your knot of your wraps. And then you just tie another knot, pull that good and tight. And another knot. And I like to do one for good measure. Why not? And you can either cut these bits off or you can leave them hanging as part of the tassel. And there you have it. Pretty much that's done except for sticking some beads and things. How easy is that? No tools, all done, and I think it's beautiful. You know, just do a little trimming and stuff. But the other thing I like to do is I took a chain and I put a jump ring on the end. I did that in advance because no one wants to watch someone play with jump rings. And I'm just going to open this back up and I want to stick my chain in there just because I think it's fun. We can scoot them both around like that. I'm just looking at it thinking, did I want to have my chain? You know what? I'm going to change my mind on the chain. I kind of wish I had put it on and then wrapped the twine. I wish I had put it on when I wrapped the knots, but I didn't, so let's go ahead and we will just take one of these bulb pins and poof, problem solved. Not a problem, an opportunity. So I'll just feed that through there and stick it right through that lace. And I like the texture of the chain, and I like that you can hang more dangles and things on it. Oh, you rascal. There we go. So there's that. And it's got our chain in it. So the first thing that I think I'll do is go ahead and start putting some things on our chain. And I have, let's see, how long is that? That's pretty long. So I have this little Tim Holtz charm that says, always be on the lookout for the presence of wonder, and I like that a lot. So I'm going to use another bulb pin. And I put a jump ring on there. I'll just put a jump ring or a bulb pin on there and pick a spot on the chain where I want it to hang. Nice. And let's see, what else do we have? We have our little bottle. I don't think I want my bottle at the end because there is the chance that it may crash around against the chain and get broken. So I think we'll stick the bottle in here somewhere. Let's let that dry a little bit longer. I'm waiting for that cork to dry inside the bottle. But we do have some little charms. And if you don't have the bulb pins, if you want to use jump rings, you certainly can. Let's see, I've got mine right here. Let's see if we can get this done without too much fuss and muss. There's that. Okay, so with the jump ring, shouldn't have put it down, that was silly. Let me come up closer, hopefully you can see this. I've got 2 pairs of flat nose pliers. With the jump ring, you don't want to pull it apart like this. You want to twist it apart. Okay, so you twist it apart like that. And which little charm are we going to do? Let's do the key. It's cute. Put a little key on there. And then go to your chain again. Hook that right through. And then twist your jump ring closed. Easy as that. Make sure that gets good and closed. It'll kind of nestle back in together. So then we're starting to get some cool stuff on our chain. Okay, I actually think I'm going to move the charm up a little bit now. Now that I see it, I think that using the jump rings is just fine. I just like how the bulb pins look. So we'll stick this up a little higher. Or you could use the bulb pin and pin the charm into one of your fibers. Totally up to you. There's so many different things you can do. And so I would just go along and keep adding little bits to the chain. I like the mixed metal look. We've got some copper, and this is sort of brassy looking, and silver and shiny silver and black. I like that mixed look. So there's the beginning of our tassel. Let's pull out one of these threads and put something else. I've got a little heart here, and this is a fun way to get your beads on. These are dental floss pullers. If you haven't seen them before, they're just like with toothpaste and dental floss, and they're real soft plastic with a pointy part and a loopy part. And I just put that on my thread. And let's see, which way do we want to go? We want to go this way to make sure the heart is right side up. I might have been able to just get that thread through the heart without it, but this is a kind of handy little tool in case you didn't know about it. I'm sure you did. Get in there. Oh boy, I'm all thumbs. Go through the top of the heart so it hangs the right direction. And I just keep pulling that thread out, don't I? There we go. And I'm just going to tie a double knot at the end of our thread. To hold that bead in place. I guess it's a charm technically. And here's another tip. Wash your hands if you've been using glue before you start this because, well, everything sticks. So there, our little heart is in there. Love that. And then for the bottle, I think we can go ahead and mess with this a little bit. So I've glued the cork in there with my beads and my glitter. And I've got what is called a head pin. Let's see. Terribly bent, but it's okay because we're going to straighten it out. Okay, so a head pin is just a piece of wire that has a little stopper at the top. You could just use a piece of wire. If you don't have a head pin, that's fine. Because what we're going to do is make a loop at the top to hold our jump ring. So, go, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe half an inch from the top. Do not quite a full bend, not a 90 degree angle, maybe an 80-degree angle. Take your round nose pliers, put them right close to that bend that you just did. Can you see that? I don't know how to hold it so you can see it. That's not going to do it. Then I'm just taking my thumb, whoop, this is a weird angle, and wrapping that around, not quite all the way. And then I'm going to take my pliers out and move them a little bit. And wrap that again. And we have our little loop there. And I made that a little small. I don't know if I can bend that with my hands. We were talking at Colleen's this morning about inferior hand strength. Yep, I've got that. So we'll see if we can do it with the pliers instead. Once again, making things look much more difficult than they are. There we go. Okay, then just straighten up your loop because I kind of got him mangled. And then, oh, I bent him even more. Stop that. This is really soft metal. Then take your wire cutters. And what I do is, I have my reader glasses on, but the wire will fly, so I just cover it with my hand and give it a little clip so that wire doesn't get, you know, into my eye or something terrifying like that. The dangers of crafting. And then you can just take your flat nose pliers and give it a little smush to make sure that cut wire isn't someplace where it's going to catch you, because it is kind of sharp. Okay, and get it back where you want it. And then what I do is, I actually think I'm going to trim this down a little bit more. I don't want it this long, so we'll trim it right about here. There we go. I thought that my eye piece went. And I'm going to take my Fabri-Tac and just put a little bit on the top of my bottle. E6000 would work. Heck, art glitter glue would probably work, or tacky glue. Why doesn't my Fabri-Tac want to come out? It did just a minute ago. Don't be that way. Uh-oh. Do we have a glue problem? We might. Let me see if my other one has any left in it. Maybe it does. Okay. Come on. Don't let me down, Fabri-Tac. There we go. Just get some stuck right there. And then take your little eye pin and stuff it right down through the middle. And as you're pushing through, the Fabri-Tac is getting on the wire. I'm turning it upside down and pushing it that way because that cork is pretty thick. So the Fabri-Tac has gotten on the wire as you've pushed it through, and I've got the base of my little eye sitting in the Fabri-Tac, so that ought to hold it just fine. I mean, I don't think I would yank on it, but it'll be just fine. So let's get this stuff out of the way. Let me put my lid back on my Fabri-Tac. And you can just keep going and putting all kinds of little goodies on as long as you felt like doing it. I have, this is another charm with a eye or a jump ring on it. I have another Tim Holtz word. I have some itty bitty little charms. Another heart, this little rose I like the color of. And I have this great big one too that I like. It's like an acrylic with sparkles in it. So I think I'll use all of those. But then with the bottle, we can just go in and decide where we want it. Maybe we'll put it on one of the gold baker's twines, and you just thread that right through. And I think I want this up a little higher because everything has ended up kind of low. Thread it through, and again tie a triple knot or a double knot, whatever you feel like doing. And you have a beautiful little glitter bottle. It's fairy dust. You've got your fairy dust on your journal. And you can make these little tassels for planners. You could probably make them into a bookmark if you put them on the end of like a popsicle stick or something. You know, make a hole in the top and hook it in that way so that the tassel could hang outside the book. That would be fun. I can't talk and not, you see. And the gold cord got kind of untwizzled. So I'm just pulling that through. Maybe we'll give it one more for good luck. Yep, get the glue off your hands before you start this, guys. Pro tip. There we go. And we'll just snip that little bit off. And then we've got that beautiful bottle. Oh, that ended up kind of low too, but that's okay. We've got our beautiful bottle of glitter with pearls in there. And so I will just keep going and going until I get the whole thing done. And then I will get my journal over here. I don't know how to do this so you guys can see. Let's see. Maybe I can open it flat. There we go. And I'll just take my ring and open it up. And I have my Tim Holtz ring, so it's sitting this way. And that way my tassel will sit right. And I do like to put the tassel on my journal before I trim it back, just to see where because I don't mind a little bit hanging past the journal, but I don't want all of it hanging a ton past. So I'll close it up. So I'll do a little trimming. I might need to adjust the placement on, say, there's one thing it looked, yeah, my little heart is down too low. So I'll pull him up some, but isn't that so pretty? Let me do it this way so you can see the whole thing. When we trim it and get it all taken care of, that's going to be just gorgeous. It's so floofy and cheerful, and I love it. It coordinates beautifully with the papers, and it just kind of makes me happy. So that is it on a tassel, you guys. Super easy, super quick. You can use all kinds of scraps and little bits that you have laying around, and you can use it to put on lots of different things. So I want to thank you so much for coming to play. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new, you guys rock. You're the best. And if you felt like it, go ahead and leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you again real soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.